We begin the news here this morning in Lawrence, Massachusetts, where many are mourning the loss of a 13-year-old girl killed in a commuter train accident. Authorities right now are trying to figure out how that happened. Our Catherine Sotnick has the latest on that investigation.
In NBTA, NECN.
And we turn our attention to Brockton, Massachusetts now, where a high school teacher is behind bars charged with raping a teenage student. Joaquim Andrada pleaded not guilty to several charges, including rape of a child and indecent assault and battery. Prosecutors say the alleged assault happened off school grounds. The judge ordered the teacher not to have any contact with that alleged victim. Andrade is being held on $20,000 bail. This is the final weekend of campaigning before voters head to the polls Tuesday. And a new poll shows the race for governor of Massachusetts is still very close. The poll was done by UMass Amherst and also WBZ. Among likely voters, Martha Coakley has a 3-point lead over Charlie Baker, the Republican opponent. It's 47 to 44%. But when you factor in that margin of error, this race is a dead heat. Our political reporter Allison King has the latest on both candidates.
Martha Coakley.
The city of Boston is preparing for the funeral of former Boston Mayor Tom Menino. His funeral is set for Monday. The Boston Globe is reporting this morning Menino actually planned his own funeral. In the months before he died, he left instructions about his service and who would actually attend that service. The mayor's spokeswoman says Menino wanted family members to be, quote, front and center at that service. He also insisted that Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick and Boston Mayor Marty Walsh also be among the speakers. People continue to head to City Hall to share their memories of Tom Menino. Our Greg Wayland talked to some.
Ripples from Greg Wayland, NECN.
And this is where you come in. Menino will lie in state at Faneuil Hall starting tomorrow morning at 10. People are invited to come by and pay their respects. Then coming up on Monday, the processional route will pass by some very notable places across Boston, including Parkman House, Boston University, Fenway Park, and Dudley Square. A private funeral mass will be held at noon on Monday at Most Precious Blood Parish. That is in Hyde Park. All right, let's talk weather now with Tim Kelly. Tim, we're talking wind today, tonight, snow overnight. This is going to be a messy weekend.
It's a two-day nor'easter, which is only half as bad as a 4-day nor'easter like we had last week.
Okay.
But the intensity,
positive side of things,
it's going to be close, and this one comes with snow, and the last one did not.
So you took the positivity of your first statement and just threw it out and brought that S word in, Tim. Come on.
Everyone wants to know. That's what we're going to start with. Everyone wants to know how much snow at my house.
And we have a Halloween tragedy to tell you about out of Los Angeles. 3 teenage girls are dead following a hit-and-run accident there. The girls were trick-or-treating in Halloween costumes. Police say they were in a crosswalk when an SUV hit them. 2 girls were killed immediately. The third died on the way to the hospital. Right now, police are still looking for the driver of that SUV. A 4th person has died as a result of last week's school shooting in Washington State. 2 other students remain hospitalized today. The gunman died of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The school is in Marysville. That's about 30 miles north of Seattle. It will reopen Monday, and grief counselors will also be available. In our health check today, there is a new treatment for patients with a specific, highly aggressive form of breast cancer. It's a drug cocktail of sorts that's having amazing success. Jennifer Franchiati has more now.
Traditionally, when you think of breast cancer.
Now to our series called Making the Grade. This one deals with Project Bread. Of course, that has been long associated with the annual Walk for Hunger. But in recent years, it has expanded its mission and found a home in many Massachusetts school cafeterias. Our Christy Lee has more on the organization's Chefs in Schools program and how that program impacts the health and education of thousands of Bay State students.
This is buffalo chicken.
NECN.
All right, Project Bread, what they did was team up with the Harvard School of Public Health for a study. And that study says students involved in their program consume more whole grains and vegetables per day than students attending schools not involved in that program. So if you'd like to learn more about Chefs in Schools, go to NECN.com. We have more information there, and we'll be right back.
Coming up in a little while.
All right, our news, Tim, begins this half hour up in Maine, where a treated Ebola patient is free to do whatever she wants. This after a judge eased restrictions on Casey Hickok's movements. NECN's Marnie McLean has reaction from Hickox and also Maine's governor.
Casey Hickok's
NECN.
And continuing our Ebola coverage, this time in Massachusetts, hospitals here, 6 of them, have formed a collaborative system to handle any potential Ebola cases here. The participating hospitals include Bay State Medical, Beth Israel Deaconess, Boston Medical, Brigham and Women's Hospital, Mass General, and Tufts Medical Center. Public health officials say the Ebola risk in Massachusetts is extremely low. A child rape suspect accused of going on a multi-state crime spree is back in Massachusetts now. Gregory Lewis was arrested in upstate New York earlier this week. He arrived back in Southbridge, Massachusetts at the police station yesterday afternoon. Police say Lewis cut off his GPS device and fled the state in mid-September. Authorities say he committed sexual assaults and robberies in several states while on the run.
I have actually never seen it where somebody...
Lewis will make his first court appearance in Massachusetts coming up on Monday. In other news here this morning, crews are still searching for a cause of a building fire in Woburn, Massachusetts. Flames broke out at a welding shop on Union Street yesterday afternoon. Crews from several nearby communities did come to help fight that fire. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. More now on the life and legacy of former Boston Mayor Tom Menino. He played a large role in developing and building up the city, but not just in the downtown area. Our business editor, Peter Howe, has more now on Menino's influence and how it shaped the city we know today.
With the noise, the trucks.
And our coverage of Mayor Menino's passing will continue over the next couple days leading up to his funeral on Monday. As always, stay with us for continuing coverage on NECN and NECN.com. President Obama will be stumping for Democrats this weekend with the election just 3 days away, and tonight he's going to attend a rally up in Michigan. Yesterday, the president was in Rhode Island to talk about the economy, though. He spoke at Rhode Island College, and in his speech, he focused on the importance of pursuing policies to help women succeed, and he held up the state's paid for family leave law as a model for other states. Rhode Island, California, and New Jersey are the only states to expand their state's disability insurance programs to cover family leave.
Women deserve a day off to care for a sick child.
Rhode Island also has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country. All right, so something people are going to be talking about, Tim, of course, the Patriots game, and they need to know how this weather is going to affect it.
That's funny. The weather and the Patriots has been a big item. Yeah. My brother called from California yesterday. What's your reaction to Bill Belichick saying the weathermen are never right? They can't get it right, and I don't care what the weather's going to do. I said, well, you know, I got it right once back in 2002, that big snow bowl. I don't know if you remember that one, and I'm sure he looked
Tim, you get it right more often than not.
Thank you.
You get it right. All of our meteorologists here do.
Bill Belichick is glued to the TV right now.
All right, another Halloween, Tim, has come and gone. Not quite sure how that happened. This time's flying. It's safe to say, though, Salem, Massachusetts is the place to be when October 31st rolls around, and our Caitlin Flint took in the sights and sounds.
There are big crowds around the Common. NECN.
Let's go right down to Washington, D.C. now, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, better known as the White House. President Obama and the First Lady welcomed children for a very special trick-or-treat there. President and First Lady greeted military families and passed out goodies to the kids and monsters alike. Look at that White House. Isn't that beautiful? The White House was decked out giant pumpkins and played Halloween-themed music for that event. All right, let's talk movies now. Of course, it might be a good weekend to go to the movies. This morning, we check out 4 new films making their premieres at the box office this weekend. Here's Raphael Seth with a preview.
Excuse me. I'm Kyle Draper. This has been Morning Sports on NECN.
All right, so it's a really busy weather weekend. We're going to save a few minutes here at the end of the newscast to talk about that, Tim.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever gets enough of the snowfall accumulation forecast graphic. It's always where, when, well.
And we're also talking about some wind problems along the coast here in Massachusetts out to the Cape.
Wind and waves, yeah. It's going to be very busy at the shore with people going and looking. It's low tide in the early afternoon, high tide this evening.
All right, Tim, thanks. That's all our time. I'm Justin Michaels.
I'm Tim Kelly. Thank you for watching NECN, New England's news station. More news coming up.